All right, we'll ask Coach Beilein for an opening statement, then go to questions for Zach and Kameron. Coach?
Well, we're thrilled about that win. We got a lot of respect for Indiana, and they're obviously by winning this championship in a league that in a year that I think the league was anybody that could get, you know, an 8 or 9 wins in this league this year really had a great team, and they got 15 of them. So they're a terrific team. And you all know the story at our place. They just pounded us. They had a 4-minute stretch. They outscored us 20-0, or 5 minutes, 20-0. And for our kids to bounce back, know what happened in that game, and then bounce back and play they would today. It wasn't like we made a run at the end. That game was nip and tuck from the very beginning. I don't know what the largest lead was, but it probably wasn't more than 3 or 4 points. And then the last thing is being so proud of Cam Chatman here, who has spent the first 2 years a lot of time, you know, sitting down on the bench with us. But he's yes sir, no sir, working hard every single day, trying to grow his game, and for him to be rewarded like that with that big shot, with that moment that he'll always be remembered for, is worth it for me, knowing that he has really done such a great job of handling all his adversity of not playing. So proud of him and everybody on the team.
Questions to the student athletes? Again, raise your hand. I'll get a mic to you. Out here to Bob.
Kameron, the obvious question. You get the ball, you get the bench behind you screaming at you. Did you have any idea how much time was left? And just take us through that shot.
Yes. I knew that we were what Coach called double eyeball, and I knew that I was going to be in the corner, so I told myself that I was going to be ready to shoot it. But then I didn't think Derek was going to pass it to me, and he ended up passing it to me. And I hesitated a little bit, but then seeing how much time was on the clock, and then I just let it go, and it felt good when it left my hand, so it was pretty good.
Other questions? Out there on the aisle.
Zach, Coach Green was just talking about, obviously Cameron's 3 was huge, but the one before it was maybe the biggest play of the game. Can you talk about that possession? You were head-to-head with Yogi, staring him eyeball to eyeball before you drove and kicked it and everything. Talk about that possession a little bit.
Yeah, I knew the shot clock was getting down low. I was just really trying to penetrate, and I saw that they helped in on me, and I saw Duncan open in the corner of my eye, and I just gave it to him, and he knocked it down. You know, I was proud of him. He was 0 for 5 before that from 3, and for him to just be able to knock down that shot, that was huge.
Additional questions? Any more for the student athletes? All right, fellas, thank you very much. You may return to the locker room. Good luck tomorrow. Questions for Coach Beilein? Out to Mike.
John, don't take this question the way it sounds, but what was he doing in the game? I mean, I know he's got ability, but you didn't play him the other 32 minutes or whatever.
No, I know. You know, we were in those last, after the Muhammad fouled out, and what I don't know what it was, a minute to go or whatever. I knew he is our best flow player on one of our better flow players on offense. We can run things through him, and so we ended up just going with it instead of putting Aubrey in there at that point, because our other guys just aren't sort of as, we would have changed some positions to get that done. So we decided to leave him in there, move Zach to a 2 guard, and let him play. And that's the last guy we would have, you know, if we would have called a timeout, I probably would have done something and said, Cam, you go to the other corner if we're going to run that play. But when I saw the spread of the floor and just Derek with the ball, I said, we can't get this by calling a timeout. So let him just go. And he made a play. He made a great play, drew and kick. And if I was guarding in that game and I knew Cam's history as a 3-point shooter, I would have given help off the corners as well, because his history would say he's not going to make that. I do see him in practice make it more and more often, and it's just a big thing for him in his career right now.
Right down here in front.
Coach, it seemed like a lot of people were clamoring for Aubrey at one point when Duncan was struggling, but the shot that he made, is that the reason he's still in the game when he's even struggling?
Yeah, once again, to like Mike's question, there's a flow that we have in the game that we liked our flow. We liked what we were able to do with the team, and sometimes some of our guys, the game flows better for them than others. And so that whether it's the matchups they had, we just decided to go with it. And Duncan, I felt good about Duncan being in there. And you know what? His defense is one of the reasons Duncan or Aubrey, if it's not because they're not making shots, it's because their defense, when we need them to get somebody else to play better defense. That's why they've gone in and out more than not making shots. And Duncan really did a good job defensively today.
Far out here on the right.
Yeah, John, you've obviously coached in a lot of these conference tournaments in your time, but given the circumstances here, NCAA tournament on the bid against the #1 seed in the tournament, can you help put this into perspective as far as, ranking amongst the best shots or clutch shots?
It is, when you've seen it all because we've had the same things happen on the other side. I mean, I'm talking half-court shots to go to an Elite Eight game. I'm talking just crazy stuff that has happened to the other way. So I'm thinking it was coming back around somewhere that one of these would come our way. So, but it's a big moment for us to be a 1-8 game and make that play after all we've been through this year, right? For that young man to do it as well. But it's going to probably go down when I pack it in someday and I just look back at all those shots. That one I'll remember a lot because of the type of young men we have on this team. They've watched. There's two seniors, Karras and Spike. Like that's all they do is they haven't been able to do anything. Spike the whole year or the whole Big Ten season for Karras, and they just never they got knocked down. They kept getting back up. That's why it's so rewarding. And Cam's a great example of that.
Back down here in front.
Have you talked about Mo Wagner yet? Today?
No, I have not talked.
Can
no.
you just talk about his spark off the bench
Yeah.
and the energy that he brought
Yeah.
in the key minutes?
So Ricky got slightly injured the other day, and he really didn't feel he could go as hard as he wanted to. So Mo was our next man up. And the first play that I called wasn't for him to shoot a three. It was a pop play for him to get it and just get space to get into a ball screen with Zach. And when he turned and I shot it, I said, "What is he doing?" And of course, that was his second on the year, I think. And he's just that type of personality that expect the unexpected. And so he just brings so much energy. That's why we have such high regard for his future right now. With strength, he just brings so much to this team. And I don't know if the favorite guy. There's a lot of guys everybody likes. Cam and Mo are probably two of the favorite guys of everybody, coaching staff, everybody. It's just all about the team.
Is there one more from anybody? Okay, thanks, Coach.
Thanks.
Both locker rooms are open for about 10 or 12 more minutes.